Well, good day, everyone. Welcome to Alchemy Within from Out Amongst the Stars. And today I'm here again with Gail Ward from Unity Consciousness. And we're going to talk about the full moon we have coming up in Sagittarius here on the 23rd of May, 2024, and some of the May energies that we have been in. It's been quite exciting and all kinds of more benefic energy after we were kind of stuck in our April retrograde and all of the shifts that been taking place. And yeah, so welcome, Gail. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Diana. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me back. And I feel very delighted to be back again on this full moon in Sagittarius. So I'm going to put my mute on and be excited about what you're going to share today.
Okay, and then Gail at the end will pull us a collective card, and she also does offer card pulls as well. So her contact information will be below. So for you personally, you can connect with Gail. And for me, I'm offering by donation at $8 minimum. You can ask me a question through email. You just go through the form that will be in the information below. And if you're not sure about the house that the transit's happening, or you want to talk about a question about rising sign, yeah, so we'll have all of that below. So we're going to jump in to share with you what the chart looks like for this full moon. And then we'll just get into some of the things that have been coming up. So everyone can see, here we are with our sun at 2 degrees and 55 minutes and our moon. So that's our full moon that is going to take place at 7:53 a.m. in my time zone, which is mountain time. And then in the UK, that will be almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I believe, 2:53 p.m. UK time. And so Eastern will be 9:53 a.m. So this full moon in Sagittarius, of course, it's opposing the Gemini energy. And one of the big I guess extra influences about this full moon is that the moon is sextiling Pluto at 2 degrees and trining the sun. And that Pluto, of course, is still in Aquarius, and it will just, as we know, it's now in retrograde. It will dip back in the fall for about 70 days or so into Capricorn. So the fall will be interesting, where people go, clean up that old kind of way of being in our Capricorn energy before we really dive into our 20-year cycle into Aquarius, which will be, of course, at the end of the year and into 2025 and going forward till about 2044. So this particular full moon is a flower moon. And that's because we celebrate at this time of year in the northern hemisphere, all the flowers blooming. We're into a spring season, and all the May flowers. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, of course, you're going into your fall. And so, but because the Western tropical zodiac is based on the northern hemisphere, that's where that comes from. And also, we have a quite a exciting energy with this Sagittarius moon, because it's a fire sign, and it's big and it's bold. And Sagittarius is about our understanding and our wisdom and our belief systems. Sagittarius is the seeker of adventure, the seeker of truth. It's very action oriented as a masculine sign, and with that fire, and it's very mutable as well. And so is the Gemini, a very mutable energy. And with these aspects to Pluto, that actually is very transformational. And these are nice flowing aspects. The trine is just things that happen nicely for us. The sextile are things like we do need to step into those actions. So, emotionally, if you are feeling like something needs to transform and change with that Pluto, it's taking those action steps towards whatever it is that's asking for you to change. And of course, Aquarius is about the technology and innovation and doing things outside the box and our future. And it's an air sign that brings in information, from um, all kinds of higher dimensions. And so if you're getting those little whispers in your ear of things that you need to do that are going to be more innovative and more progressive, that's something that you might uh, feel fired up with that Sagittarius to do, and you want to hopefully find ways to take advantage of that, the confidence and feeling lucky and um, diving into new experiences. However, with it being a full moon, which is the 180 degrees apart, that is typically more of a culminating energy and a closing energy. So there may have been something you started back in the Sag new moon, which was in December of around December 12th of 2023. There might have been something that was there that is kind of now coming to to a close, and it also could go back to the new moon cycle that was around that degree point, which actually started in November, about November 23rd, 2022. That was a 1 degree and 38-minute new moon in Sagittarius. So we have those longer cycles, and this would be the close of that particular cycle. So there may have been, places where you have been expanding and growing and have a lot of, hope and enthusiasm and abundance coming, or places where you feel more confident, or even a total kind of change in your belief. Or there might have been some higher education you've been doing, or something that has been um, uh, connected to foreign culture or foreign uh, lands, or some sort of, I guess, place that you are unfamiliar with. And so now, as you move into all of these different, it's sometimes even to do with spirituality and religion, or things that guide your path as you are, of morals and ethics and that kind of thing. So if you've had a whole change in paradigm, it's for reason. And I mean, Pluto in Aquarius is going to bring that as well. So the Sag moon is definitely a time to get out and enjoy, and it's not a retreat energy. So whatever it is that you feel drawn to, or drawn to share with others, so it's not as much that internal energy as, whatever it is that you're feeling like, I'm ready to be bold and say what I want to, share in community, and bring to others. So, like as we were speaking of, Gail's wanting to do the card pulls for people at certain times, and so connecting with her, she wants to share that with the community. And for me, I want to help you understand your chart. I want you to help you understand the meanings of the house that some of these transits are going through. So, and your chart individually. So we're here to be of that service for you, um, and 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 allow you to understand yourself better, because that's really, from that spiritual perspective, um, what we're trying to do is get a better understanding of what our soul contract has wanted us to do in this lifetime. And we've mentioned before, this isn't where we started. This is where we have been, um, destined to go. And so, and we've had a lot of energy that's been really pushing everyone towards their destiny. And so I mean, really in general, the beginning of this year, especially in May, there's been just a lot of Jupiterian energy. So Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and that Jupiterian energy in this first half of the year, because of all the different transits that have been taking place, have wanted us to look at, all of those places where we can expand and grow, and this Jupiter in this very concentrated house of Taurus that we just been in, has had a lot of really benefic interactions here recently. And so yeah, just keeping in mind, like, what Jupiter brings, which is abundance and growth, um, and then with, and also the philosophies and long distance travel and our things to do around our belief systems, and lots of that same energy as we spoke of for Sag, as it rules Sag. And so in Taurus, this Jupiter, because we have to look at the ruler of this full moon. And in Taurus, we're in a fixed earth sign, and that's been very connected to our material possessions, and our nature and our five senses and our money and the responsibilities of our day to day and assets and all the things that we enjoy with food, or what we love to listen to, or what we love to touch or taste or smell, or the beauty and aesthetics around us, and has a lot to do with a very I guess exuberant, even more a little bit into luxury when you have the Jupiter with the Taurus. We are going to, as you see, Jupiter's at 29 degrees. Right after this full moon, we are going to move, or Jupiter's going to move into our sign of Gemini. So, and when it does, it's going to hit the sun. And as well as then going to trine with Pluto. So that will be something that we'll talk about. That's a very big energy of the year that will be coming up, and into June. But we are right now sitting with this, Jupiter and Venus at 29 degrees, and in sextile with Neptune at 29 degrees. And that 29 degrees is such a concentrated energy. Like, it brings so much more strength to all of those. And I mean, Venus, Jupiter, is so benefic, and and with the Neptune there on top of it, can bring in a lot of dreamy energy. And of course, that's actually happening on this same day, on the 23rd as well. And yeah, so pay attention to where you're connecting with others, or what kind of relationships that are coming into your awareness. That can be love and romance, and those dreamy energies, and very I guess it's with that anoretic and degree at 29 degrees, it'll be even stronger. So you could be very magnetized towards certain people, and or just exude that energy that attracts the people that you need to be connecting with, and whether that's romance or otherwise, although those energies are a very romantic energy. too. So going back though to, I had done some, uh, just logging of all of these different things that we had happening. And in May, it was really, really, really interesting how we had all of this, nothing moving forward. And April was just like with the Mercury retrograde and things just not coming together the way that we want. And then we move into May. All of a sudden, I don't know if everyone noticed that we had definitely a shift of energy. So it did start out with, a Mercury conjunct Chiron, and we had sort of that end of that, of our Mercury retrograde take a little while to come. It was about May 13th that actually came out of shadow. So you may not have felt the momentum right away, but right around there, what really became into everyone's awareness was all this aurora energy. And that was like in the geomatic at flares and the X flares. And if you want to learn more about that, I know Pam Gregory really is focused on sharing the information that comes through, but you can also go onto that geomatic website and get the information. So I was kind of just, taking notes of like what X flares and what M flares were coming through on all of those first days of May. And that was so, I guess the energy was just so indicative of a Jupiter and the Sun Uranus, like the sun had moved through that Uranus on May 13th. And like, how about that? Like the Uranian sun energy with the solar flares was very, very, just a real life example of what can happen. And also potentially the people could have felt like sudden breakthroughs or breaking free or inspirational feelings, awakening insights. Like some of these things I get from my friend Ren Butler's book. I have it, The Archetypal Universe. You can go, you see I have tabs in it. Whoops. And yeah, we actually grew up in the same hometown and our families are still connected. My mom and dad were playing music with his brother here the other day. And yeah, he's so good at explaining some of these conjunctions that come together. So in general, archetypal, I guess, um, descriptions that give you all kinds of dynamics of the way that some of these big planets can come together, and especially the outer planets when it's a long-term transit. It's really interesting. And yeah, he follows the work of Richard Tarnas. So I get lots of the descriptions from there. So if that sounds familiar, and but yeah, we can be feeling, with that sun going through Uranus, and then um, we had like a sort of electric things happen, a sudden bolts of, and inspirational ideas and sudden um, liberating energy that can get you out of stuckness. So if you were feeling like you were really in the slog of things during, um, the Aries season, that you wanted to start something, but it just actually wasn't coming down and grounding like it can in Taurus. It was not gaining the momentum you want. There could have been some way of breaking free. And then, people get rebellious though. So you've seen some of that energy happening too with, different, the different riots and protesting and that kind of thing. So it can be very inventive though. So if you had any kind of inspirational and innovative things come through, that can happen as well. But may have been unexpected changes. And with Taurus, it could have been financially as well. And hopefully that was in a benefic way. And then we had, the Mercury actually just move into Taurus, which that brings just a little slowing down of the mind, a little more grounded, not so fiery. It's very practical intelligence. And so if you were like, and of course Mercury is to do with our communication style and our mind and our decision making and thought processes and the opinions and just the way we connect with people. And so if you were feeling a little fiery before, now bringing some of those new innovative things can be more grounded down. And so with Taurus, it's more of that very solid, structured, stable, and uh, very kind of methodic energy that we, the speech can also sound, because it's Venus ruled, very beautiful and very poetic. And typically people with that Mercury and Taurus energy have really beautiful voices, or can definitely even be those that are involved in music and that kind of um, thing as well. So the Taurus is so very sensory, and it loves the touch and the sound and the feel of things. Uh, then going into the middle of May, we had with that Mercury in Taurus, it's squaring Pluto. So that could have brought up a few different things, because we have that Pluto Aquarius energy, and it was squaring that. So that can be more of a powerfully intense sort of nature in the way that we speak. Like uh, Pluto in Aquarius itself is about transformation and that rebirth, and outside the box and higher, bigger viewpoints, and that. So you might have found that people were just a lot more intense with the way that they spoke with about their feelings and beliefs, in the way that they different habits and attitudes and all of those different kinds of ideas. And um, they can get very dogmatic sometimes too. And I just found that my daughter, as a Taurus, definitely had uh, a lot more kind of wanting to really be more fixed in her energy, in the way that she was like, no, like, this is the way that I want it, right? Not as flexible, for sure. So then May 18th, though, was a really benefic day. And we had, first of all, that Venus, um, and which is right here, and that Jupiter, or sorry, Venus, first of all, before it hit Jupiter, it hit Uranus at 23 degrees, so in Taurus. So that was like, um, I mean, Venus is about beauty and harmony and love and peace and pleasure, and wanting kind of those sensual romantic partnerships, and all that potential to have something look beautiful and feel beautiful. And you may have wanted to like do something drastic and go get like some kind of wild hairdo or something, right? With it hitting Uranus, it's hard to say, um, but it definitely could have had some um, excitement around your love, even money, because of course it's in Taurus too. And there could have been some really unexpected shifts or surprises that kind of come from that place. But it's it was a great energy, like a more benefic energy than some. And what I did too was I went back in time to different dates when this happened. So this is kind of what I really enjoy, is to go back in time to see when these different planets have come together. So Venus conjoining Uranus and Taurus also happened on May 18th in 2019. And we had another on March 8th of 2020, April of 2021, April 22nd of 2021, and June 11th of 2022, and March 30th of 2023. So just because Venus goes around, it takes about a year to go around the zodiac. So, or just over a year. It's quite close with the sun, right? And so then it's really interesting to go back, and then we're going to see July 4th, 2025, and April 24th, 2026, before it we see that Uranus move out of Taurus. So it's been in there since about 2018, Uranus in Taurus, shaking up our money systems and our climate and our food, supplies and supply chain, and how we do all of our money things and material possessions and life in that regard. So, and then we also, on May 18th was another like Sun conjunct Jupiter, which is a Jupiter cazimi essentially. So it gets burned up in the sun, and then it starts a new cycle. And so we had that benefic energy as well as the sun, with the sun conjuncting Jupiter, considered to be like a lucky day of the year. So if anybody had anything happen that came through that felt really you know extra lucky or extra beneficial, I know I got some news on the 17th, because they are not open on the 18th, that had to do with money, which was something I took action on, but I had not been in my awareness, and it all came together very quickly. And so, and the Taurus is in my my fourth house. So, and it had to do with something to do with home, that I needed money for. And so it came through. And so that'll be, yeah. So that was like great. And then on top of it, Venus is what rules Taurus. So it was in its, it was in its joy there, being in the home sign of Taurus. But Venus also rules Libra. And for me, that's ninth house. And I also won a set of mini courses from an astrologer I follow. I just happened, he had to comment, and they were doing a giveaway, and I won. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess that was my lucky day of the year story to tell. And if you have any more of those kinds of stories, please let us know in the comments, or if you want to ask me more questions about it, or where you might have, what house some of these things are happening in, you can always reach out through the form below. So, so we had some other dates you can go back to, like the Sun conjoining Jupiter and Taurus. It's I'll bring in, like I said, all those real tangible things. And when we had that, were many long-term dates in history. So you can do some research on this in Wikipedia. So 1941 was, there was stuff, of course, lots to do with the war and that kind of thing. And May of 1941 was a time when we had the Sun and Jupiter conjoined, as well as in Taurus, in the sign of Taurus, as well as the 22nd of April, 1964, 27th of April, 1976, May 2nd, 1988. And I'm going through these fast because they're, from long time history. If you were around, May 8th, 2000, May of 2012, and then of course, May here of 2024. So every 12 years, that's the Jupiter synodic cycle. Every 12 years we have that. And I know for me, I was going back into those dates and looking back And I have this other nothing astrology related subject, kind of business that I'm looking at, and things are kind of happening with that again. And so I'm like, oh, that happened in 2000. In 2012, I took it to another level, and then everything kind of changed in 2019, but now it's coming back around again. And so I haven't been doing anything since then. So that was kind of what happened for me there. So yeah, so I love going through these old cycles. And so that's what I've been kind of doing, is like, because I take notes and I go to my pictures and I go to my emails, which I don't delete a bunch of things. So I have history, and it's been, yeah, really neat to track some of these uh these energies. So Gail, we just have a couple of minutes left, but did you want to pull a card for the collective for us?
Yeah, thank you. It is so interesting that you can track and you can, you know, look at your life and reflect by the patterns. I'm fascinated by it. And
Yeah.
thank you for, yeah, there's a lot of alarm bells going off in my mind. And I actually
Yeah.
won a small prize on Saturday. So I did the lottery and I got a very small prize. I just
Yeah. Yeah.
remember.
Don't be afraid to buy a lottery ticket. Oh man.
And I don't,
Anyway,
yeah,
we have just a minute left, but Gail's going to pull us a card.
excellent.
And if you,
So
yeah,
yeah,
want to connect with us.
we've got the hidden gift. So I'm not sure how related that is to the Sagittarius. Oh yes, it says it's sadness, an ending, and a new beginning. So that's kind of apt, isn't it? It's number 9. And if I've got time to read the affirmation, I'll just read that final affirmation. I trust that all is unfolding for my highest good.
That's
Love
so
and yeah, love and light fill my heart. I give thanks for the blessings I receive, and every ending marks a new beginning. All lives eternally in my heart. So I hope that helps today. I know we're going to run out of, we're coming to the end of this time together.
well, thank you.
But thank you so much.